Good evening, everyone. So welcome to MCU radio and Monkchat program. So welcome to today section with Monkchat radios and every Tuesday. I have you're with me now. Now it's Somboun and I haven't been here for maybe a couple weeks, and this is and now I'm back. So today I'm with my friend. Okay, so hello, Phra Tong.
Hello everyone, my name is Phra Tong Atitawangso, and welcome to our Monkchat radio program 106 MHz. And today you are with us again as usual. So last time we already have the Monkchat radio programs and we talk about different topics.
Yeah. So last time on what's day?
On
Monday, right?
yeah,
Monday,
on Monday.
So we did talk about a niyama or karma.
Yeah, the law of
If you
karma in Buddhism.
Follow our radio or our podcast, we both of us always together,
Yes.
And Monday, so we had an interesting topic, and that's concerned with Buddhism. And today we're going to we come up with something a little bit different, So we come up with a question that foreigner always asks about Buddhism and Buddhist monk when it comes to Monkchat. So we picked up some interesting question that we find it is useful to help you to know or understand better about Buddhism. So today we come up with many different questions, and maybe some of you also have wondering, and for those especially foreigner and for those who are not Buddhist, maybe sometimes you may be curious or
Right.
maybe wonder for a long time. And today maybe the question that we will present today maybe is what you want to know.
Right. So every day from Monday to Friday, we have the Monkchat radio program, and every time we have or we bring some different courses, especially about the Buddha's teaching to share to our audiences. And this day also we bring some topic. I'm sure that is very interesting for our listeners, because
Yes.
these questions are frequently asked by the foreigners, and so many foreigners before the COVID-19 when they come to Monkchat, and they were so curious about Buddhism and how does the Buddhists look like what is their daily routine, and how many meals do monks have a day. So these are some of the basic questions that frequently asked by the foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
And to the radio, this is by the several questions. So we are going to discuss today, and yeah, certainly if for those people who are listening us line 9 right now, if you feel like you want to ask us, so you can send the message in our Facebook page, and also on our Facebook page as well. And then we will bring these questions to talk about for the next week or the next day.
So if anyone you want to know more about Buddhism, we have got a Facebook page,
Right.
Monkchat. You can leave your comments or your questions on our Facebook page, and we'll bring and present or maybe give you or maybe tell you the answer. So sometimes we cannot really like answer your question immediately. Maybe that is our homework to go back and find out the answer. And
Right.
because we are also still young novice and young monk, still
Right.
learning about Buddhism as well. So, and if you are, it would be very kind of you if you are able to like leave your question and like leave your comments, about our podcast and anything that we need to improve. Please don't hesitate, to comment or like to greet or maybe to leave a good question.
Right.
Mhm.
So today we will start very simple questions,
Okay.
but definitely it would be very interesting for our listeners
Mhm.
because these questions is simple, but it's not
Yes.
easy to answer or to understand because for the speaker, there are so many different ways to explain about the life of the Buddha and what he has been passed through during his lifetime.
Mhm.
But today radio program is kind of sharing. So we are going to share the life of the Buddha together and then we move on to the next question. Okay, so I wanted to start the very, very basic question and very interesting question.
Mhm.
Who is the Buddha?
Who is the Buddha?
Who is the Buddha?
that seemed to be very easy, but it's not that easy. Even some Buddhist people don't really know who the Buddha is.
Right.
So even like a person who was born in a Buddhist country or in a Buddhist family, some people are not familiar with monk or temple, but they have seen statue, and they have seen the picture, but they don't really know who the Buddha really is. So I think this question is very interesting and very important. Who is the Buddha?
Right.
So the Buddha in actually is an ordinary person, who was born in a royal family. So that is a brief the how to say history of the Buddha. He was a Indian prince, and actually he was born in northern India,
Oh.
where is now Nepal.
Oh.
So at that time, it wasn't India, and actually, but it's many different kingdoms. One of the kingdoms called Kapilaphat, and that's one of the kingdom. The kingdom was ruled by a king named Suttodana, who is the father of the Buddha, or of the prince, young prince.
Oh, so the Buddha was a prince. Right?
Yes, he is. He is a prince, and then he when he grew up, and he decided to live the luxurious life, and ordain as we call at that time ascetic.
Oh.
I'm not sure that is a correct term of.
Or the hermit. I
The
think.
hermit, maybe it's similar to priest, or
Yeah.
the one who ordain themselves to seek for like the reality of life, to like to stay away from all the luxurious or maybe convenience life.
Oh.
At that time, there's many different faith and school that also trying to find out what is the ultimate truth in India. So the same thing. The young prince, he also tried to find out what is the truth. So the truth is, the thing that make him want to find out the truth is that because he came across the reality of life, which is he have never seen in his life, is that the suffering of human being.
Oh.
Like he saw how to say an old man, a sick man, uh, a dead a dead a dead man,
Yes.
or cough, and an ascetic. Also, this four things make him want to find out the answer how to overcome this kind of suffering. And the hermit or an ascetic is the thing that he thought that maybe that's kind of being will be able to help him to be able to from all the suffering and help other people to be free from suffering.
Oh, all right. So yeah, so it means that when the Buddhas were alive, he was a prince and
Yes.
he lived as a luxurious life.
Yeah, before he became a Buddha.
Oh. And then he couldn't find happiness, and
Yes.
it seems like his life is very suffered. Like even though he has got everything, including the girls, his wife, and alcohol or whatever, or dancing or dancers, and these things didn't fill up his happiness. And until one day, right? So he went out of the palace and he find this kind of four things: a dead man, a dead man or a sick man, and an old man and a monk or ascetic or hermit. And then finally he decided to leave the palace and finding the truth of suffering, or how to find the truth of happiness, right?
Yeah, so it's very interesting to know. There's many important thing and interesting to learn about the life of the Buddha. So when we compare about
Yes.
people nowadays, what we are looking for,
Oh.
we looking for money, we looking for luxury,
Right.
we looking for convenience life. We looking for something that we think that's happiness. But at that time, imagine a young prince, live in your family.
I couldn't imagine how does his life is.
So, but he felt that that is not the real happiness. So, and he decided to like live away this kind of thing. But in the opposite way, people now are trying to like find like looking for this thing. So that is something that I want you to like think along, and actually what because the teaching of the Buddha or the ultimate or the highest ultimate goal in Buddhism is not about to be the richest man in on earth,
Yes.
but to be the happiest man on earth.
Yes. I definitely agree with your preview. I think we can learn so many things from the Buddha's lifetime, because nowadays people are always seeking for the happiness by the worldly happiness. Like it can be consuming things, and it can be like they don't know the word enough. Like when they have more and then they want it more, like and finally they cannot find the happiness from it.
Yes.
I think the meaning of happiness, it doesn't mean that we should have a lot. Some people they might think that I want more, but some people that they want because they know the word enough and they are viewing to what they are having. And I came across one of the reasons from one of the very famous person. So he spent his life very very simple. Do you know Chontan light?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Chonchari is one of the very good example in this lifetime on the current society, because he learned a lot from the real life, like the true of happiness. He doesn't have much thing, but he enjoy what he is doing. He just live by the nature, or to become a normal person, so we can observe by his dressing, his consuming, so we can see that sometimes we don't have to have too much.
I see.
Yeah, as the four basic things. This thing I talk a lot about the four basic things, like the shelter, food, medicine, and the cross. These are the four majors in our life that we cannot miss one of them. All right, so we move on to the next question.
I want to
You want to add more?
add more about
All right.
the first one, and actually it's very interesting.
Yes.
About what you just said. In in today world, so people, it doesn't mean that being rich is not good. Being a millionaire is bad.
Right.
Or some people may think, rich people are bad people. So that is not the right way. So we didn't we don't mean that rich people are bad people or poor people are good people. No, and actually rich rich and poor, there's no, how to say, standard of how much money you have, and you can call yourself as a rich person, and how much money that you have, and you call yourself as a poor person. And actually there's no standard to say that, this person is poor, this person is rich. So rich and poor here, this is only the concept.
All right.
But actually the Buddha said that anyone who are satisfied, if you satisfy what you have, that is the richest. The one who how to say, the one who are perfect, satisfied with they have. Maybe I have, like, for someone $1 million.
Like we are having right
$1 million
now.
is that is a very big money. But for someone, it's very small. So that's why there's no this standard. But it's about how, if you satisfy what you already have, that is how to say, enough. As you say. So that's, it doesn't mean someone who have a big house and is a bad person. No. And that is I want to clarify.
I think this is a very the missed point of view for those people who are viewing that these rich people are bad, and these poor people are bad too.
No. So
yeah, this is about a misconception.
yes.
So like the Robert Kiyosaki, he also talk about this kind of ideas, that how we look at the different class of people.
Yeah.
So actually all the people are good.
Yes.
And
everybody is.
And the satisfaction is also different as well.
Yes.
So that's why we cannot guarantee that I'm happy and you're not happy. Right. Okay, so now we are going to move on to discuss about the next question. This question is about the misconceptions from different kind of people as well too. So when they come across the Buddhism, and then they have curious, why Buddhism? There are so many schools, so why is that? And then they have curious, is Buddhism just only one Buddhism, or there are so many? because if we can see from the internet or the news, we can see it. Buddhism, they are in so many different countries. So if you go to Thailand, Laos, Myanmar, Cambodia, and they also call themselves that I'm Buddhist. And when you go to China, Nepal, yeah, Nepal also Buddhist. Nepal, Korea, Japan, they also call themselves Buddhist. And in Japan, especially, they call themselves pure Buddhism or the Zen. So, and then the foreigners curious, which one is the Buddhism really? So we are going to discuss about this question. And yeah, and so why Buddhism? There are so many different types of Buddhism.
uh, this question, I cannot say exactly the reason why there's so many different kind of Buddhism.
All right.
What I
So we are discussing.
what I know, and actually there's so many different school of Buddhism. So like in Southeast Asia,
Right.
mostly they call themselves as Theravada Buddhism.
What is Theravada Buddhism?
Theravada Buddhism is another school of Buddhist school. So there are Theravada Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, Vajrayana Buddhism, and yeah, this is the three main school that I've heard from people.
Right.
Yeah, so like Theravada Buddhism mostly are in Southeast Asia,
Right.
like in Myanmar, in Sri Lanka, in Thailand,
Yes.
Laos, Cambodia, and some part of Vietnam.
And southern Vietnam.
Yes, so this country belong to Theravada Buddhism. They call themselves as a conservative school.
What is the meaning of conservative school?
Conservative, like they claim themselves that they practice traditionally as a Buddhist ways of life, according to the Buddha time. You know, it means like they keep practicing the way of living as a monk, like in the past.
Right.
So they don't change the way of living of the monk. So the rule, what is said.
And we don't add anything also, right?
Yes. So they try to how to say traditionally practice along with what is said according to the rule of the monk. That is how to say the main point, the key point,
right,
of this school. And another school which is very well known, I think, called Mahayana Buddhism.
What's the meaning of Mahayana?
Mahayana actually is mean big.
Big.
Mahayana Buddhism is mean like the Buddhism that have a big vehicle, which is like bring all the people to attain the nirvana or something. And actually, this is very well known, especially this kind of Buddhism exists in China.
China, yes.
In Vietnam, in Korea, in Japan. Yeah, so this country are Mahayana Buddhism, and in Tibet.
Yeah, Tibet.
And this school, and actually, they emphasize on a loving kindness, compassion, to help people. How to say, more open, more. They call themselves as a progressive school. Progressive schools mean they improve and they change the how to say the way of living of the monk. They don't really practice as like what is said according to the rule of the monk in the teaching of the Buddha. So they try to adapt their way of living according to the situation, according to the country, according to the people that they are with. So that's why this school are more progressive and more wider, you know. So you might familiar with the Chonglin.
Chonglin, who is sorry.
You know Chonglin like a monk.
Oh, Shaolin.
Have you
Shaolin, like the boxer, some kind of boxer.
Not really. Actually, like
Shaolin.
monk do martial art, you know.
Oh.
They fight, you know. They do martial art. So that is another school of the Mahayana Buddhism. So and actually that is another brand of the Mahayana Buddhism.
Right.
So another school that is very well known of Mahayana Buddhism is Zen Buddhism. Zen, you know Zen?
Yeah.
Yes. So this kind of Buddhism are in Japan.
Right.
And some part of Korea also follow the Zen Buddhism. So that is another school of the Buddhism. And I think another school that's maybe if I talk about a monk, maybe you will know immediately, you know, who he is, you know, and where he is. And actually, this school called Vajrayana Buddhism. Vajrayana Buddhism are in Tibet. And the one of the well-known famous monk lived there. He stayed there. He was born there. His name is Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama. So he belonged to the Vajrayana Buddhism. And this is and actually somebody said that, and actually Mahayana Vajrayana Buddhism belong to include with the Mahayana Buddhism. And actually there's only two main school, the only Mahayana Buddhism and Theravada Buddhism.
All right. So do you know what is the big difference between these kind of religions?
And I said earlier, and actually progressive Buddhism and conservative Buddhism
is different.
Yeah,
the goal is different.
The goal is totally exactly the same. The teaching, the core teaching, the theme are the same. But maybe the way of practicing, or maybe the a certain rule because of the culture, tradition, or people ways of life.
Right.
Maybe that make the monk's way of living or Buddhist way of living in different zone or in different country are different. And actually the teaching and the theme are still the same, you know. So like and the teaching, like the Four Noble Truth, the same. We don't change like any teaching, and they also have the same teaching, the Noble Eightfold Path and loving kindness, and the teaching is the same. The meditation also samatha or like concentration meditation or vipassana insight meditation also, both we practice the same. Maybe the way of living or the rule to live in the monastery, maybe it could be different.
So we can say that the Buddhism just only the one religion, even though we have so many different kind of schools in Buddhism, and it also occurred in different countries as well. So the main teaching of the Buddha is the same. The core is still the same and is already there already. So for those people who are still confused about this concept, please make sure that you understand what Phra Somboun just talked about. The different kind of regions and why they are so different. And one of the key speech of Phra Somboun is different because of the different cultures. Like the way of practicing is different because it's located in different countries or different cultures. For example, in China, the monks can praise both. But on the other hand, in Laos or in Thailand or Cambodia or Myanmar, we are not allowed to play any kind of sports. It's because of the condition that's different. All right. So, do you want to add more about this question, or you want to move on to the next one?
Okay, let's move to the next one.
All right. So let's see what we are having. Actually, there are so many different questions, but we'll keep. Oh, I think now is the time for take a break, or maybe you to continue for one more question.
Yes,
or,
we have a little more
I think it,
time to maybe around 5 minutes. Maybe we can have the next question, maybe the last question.
Okay, so I will put on one last question for this talk, and then we move on to the next day, because this book is very interesting actually, and we want to keep sharing about the information in this book, because it's very well known and frequently asked questions by a foreigner. So I think even though only some of the tourist guide, they also can pick up some ideas from our talk and all the informations from this book as well. Okay, so one of the last questions, please make it easy and short and sharp. All right. So Buddhism is just a philosophy or not? So do you think Buddhism is philosophy, or maybe it's not?
I think this question many people, many monks are asked at Monkchat, So some people say that Buddhism are not religion.
Oh.
And some people say that Buddhism rather be a philosophy. And I think that is not the point. That is not important. Whether you call Buddhism philosophy or religion, I think it doesn't matter, because I want to say that Buddhism is Buddhism. So we cannot because when we talk about philosophy and religion, is like comparison. And when we take a look at the definition of religion, and actually in the definition of religion is mean like when somebody have like faith in God. And actually in Buddhism we don't really we don't, how to say, talk about God. So that's why Buddhism cannot be considered as a religion. And on the other hand, philosophy also is not, even though it's very close to Buddhism, but it's not exactly what is mean Buddhism. So philosophy, if we take a look carefully about the definition of the philosophy is mean like when you collect information or knowledge from different like sources, and you include that this thing is the truth by thinking. But Buddhism rather be experience. So like in Buddhism, one of the Buddhists, the Buddha was said that Pachatang. Pachatang is like to know by yourself. You cannot like imagine or maybe think or realize or experience the truth through other people's wisdom, but to experience yourself, that is the true the true wisdom. So that's why in Buddhism, maybe there's something similar to philosophy, but it's not exactly. But also at the same time, in Buddhism, talk about faith or not? Yes, we have faith in.
Yes,
like,
we also have faith.
Yes, but it's not exactly like a religion that most of the people understand, because we don't talk about God.
We also have doubt too. So we can
Yes.
faith, we can doubt, we can find the answer by oneself.
So that's why I cannot exactly identify Buddhism as a religion or Buddhism as a philosophy.
Right.
Yeah. So I just want to say that Buddhism is Buddhism.
Yes.
But we have to find out in the deeper detail about what Buddhism really is. So Buddhism would rather be investigation, especially about understanding oneself, and in order to understand others and in things around us.
Right.
So basically to find out the truth, which is the same or similar to philosophy.
Yes. I really admire your answer. I like it actually. So I want to add more about this kind of question. So actually Buddhism is not really a religion. It's just the way of living, on the way of life, as most of the foreigners they heard about it. And the more important about understand the religion, I think we don't have to cling on the name too much, because clinging too much can attract us to the suffer states. Actually, the religion just already the names, and when the Buddha was born, there is no kind of the name of religion. It's just some kind of school that help people, cultivate people to have better life and understanding the truth of suffering.
Yes.
So, in order to understand deeply and easily, Buddhism just only to finding the truth of life. When there was the cause, it's supposed to have the way of solutions. All right.
Yeah. So all about the concept, whether philosophy or religion, But in Buddhism, we don't talk about only the concept, as you said.
Right.
So in Buddhism, we call it conventional truth. It's truth. Like when they say table.
Yes.
Yeah, it's table.
It's
But
just table. That's the word. Right.
In English, we call table, but in Thai, we call to. And actually, to and table are the same. But
The
we don't
same
claim maybe it's the same
context.
thing. Yes, but it's what is this? It's this, But it's not table. It's this.
Right.
So the same thing. What is Buddhism? It's that. It's not even a Buddhism, So that's why the easy way to understand about this, how much we try, how can we avoid from like a cling on concept is that like compare with the soap, soap. So in English we call salt, right? So in Thai we call clear. How about in China?
As I can remember, it can be xian.
And in your language or in many other languages, we may call in different names, in different ways. But the taste of the salt the same.
Oh.
When you taste the salt, it's how to say
Salty. Salty.
Yeah, so it's salty. So that is the ultimate truth, and that is the truth that everybody, when they experience, we experience the salty of the salt. So that is what we will try to mention. But to understand through the conventional truth also is still necessary,
right?
But not to attach on the concept. So that's why it's not very important that it's not very that is not that important to identify exactly what Buddhism is.
Right.
Okay, all right. I think now it's time, to say goodbye. And thank you very much for those who are listening to Monkchat radios, and for those who are watching it on Facebook Live. And thank you very much for keep following us until now. Okay, so now we will continue, having a conversation like this and bring up with a question, interesting question.
Yes.
That is concerned with Buddhism and being in general.
Right.
Like this every week. Okay. So now maybe last and final. So we wish you all of you to be happy, healthy, and stay strong. And we wish you all to be have a happiness in life. Okay, and finally, take care.
Okay, thank you very much. And so don't forget to follow us on the Facebook page and on the Monkchat Press, because we have live every Monday and Tuesday, and especially in every evening we have Monkchat live also. So don't forget to stay tuned and stay curious in order to find the true more. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. See you next time. Bye bye.